Kale musiibye mutya Bulaaya n'abali Uganda saawa zigenze sanga mukaaga ezakiro naye mbabuuzaako Ssaalongo Kigundu ge manya gange. Mukama yeebale okubakuuma, Mukama yeebale okutuyisa mu wiiki, mwebaza ebyo byatusobozesezza ate ne tusaasira n'abo bali mu bulumi. Ntweyongera okusaba Mukama ayongere okubakwatirako. Akawungezi ka leero ssanyu jjereere okuba nti mu studio wano programu agafa mu bwengula waniriza omukulu Davis Kizito Kibyami okubanga agenyigaddeko wano tuwayemu kimu bibiri tumanye ebiki byaliko ennaku zino okubanga bwe tubeera wano mu bwengula twalengedde nga mu Ugandan community of Greater Chicago waliyo ensiike, waliyo okulonda obukulembeze era ng'omukulu ono y'omu ku beesimbyewo. Kaseera kano abadde asaavinga nga vice president ate nga ku mulundi guno ogamba nti kaneeyongereko nfuukire ddala president mulamba, era y'ensonga lwaki twamunoonyezza ne tugamba ajje agenyukoleko wano akawungezi ka leero tunyumye naye atubuulire ekyo ki kyaliko era tusuubire kisebo. Mwami Kizito, nsanyusa okukulabako akawungezi ka leero.
Nange neesimye okulaba ssebo.
Ge muwulidde
Ekyali
batya abeeko eyo
batyo okuggyako mmwe eyo.
Naffe gye tuli.
Amannya ago Kizito Davis Kibyami.
Njogedde David, omanyi oddigwa ndowooza.
Oyogedde Davis. N'erinnya lya Kibyami abantu tebamanyi, teriri common nnyo. Kibyami.
Kibyami, not Kibyami. Kibyami.
Kibyami, not Kibyami. Kibyami yali musajja mukulu nnyo mu kika ky'Abakasimba. So erinnya oluteekamu akawoowo eggonjebwa.
Mpulidde.
Ssebo
webala ennongooserezeeyo.
Kaakati
era twabadde tulanga nti ogenda kujja wano abantu omulamwa gwabadde ogwo nti mwami Kibyami olwaleero ye vice president wa Ugandan community in Greater Chicago, UCiGC. Ate nga ku mulundi guno olw'okuba nti era obukulembeze buzzeemu bukomyewo eri abantu baddemu bakole choice, right? Agamba nange era mundemu muntunuulire kubanga kaakati ate njagala kutuula ddala ku ntebe ennene ey'obwa president. Nsobola okukola assumption n'endowooza nti abantu abatulaba abatuuliza bekikwatako bamanyi Kizito y'ani olwedde olw'okubanga abaddewo asaavinga, naye sijja gikola kankusabe oddemu era obeeyanjulire bupyo booli awo waliwo abaakayingirawo mu community bakumanye. Mwami Kizito yani ono ku Kizito gwe tukolerako.
So mba njagala kusooka kubuuza nti kiryoke okukozesa ennimi Oluganda n'olutafutafu kuwayinza okuwaliyo abantu abatategeera Luganda.
Ssebo weebale nnyo okunzijukiza ekinakirabidde kinanditandikiddeko era nange nandibadde nkola introduction mu nnimi zombi kubanga yes ddala kiryoke bulungi nnyo. Audience twina bbiri olulimi okozesa lwonna lw'osobodde ssebo.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, names are Kizito Kibyami, Kizito Davis Kibyami. I currently serve as the Vice President, Ugandan Community in Greater Chicago. I reside in Chicago. I've been in Chicago for a little over 7 years now. Moved here 7 years ago with literally nothing. For the most part of that time, I've been in school. And until recently, I graduated with my BSN, and until just a couple, days ago, I got my license, and that puts me to the level of BSN-RN. Right now, as we all know, we have UCiGC is having elections. It is that time of the year. Every after 2 years, we have the elections. And I decided, community service is my passion. I just find myself in community service voluntarily. I've been serving as the vice president, and the current president, Mr. Matanda, is not returning. So I thought, why not? So I stepped up, and I want to serve as the as the UCiGC president. So currently, that is the situation. Elections will be on October 9th. I think the flyer is going out October 9th, which is the official Ugandan Independence Day. So we will be having an event, the usual UCiGC Independence Day event, but this time around we have elections. Yeah, so basically that's it, and that's me in brief.
All right. I'd like to get into what you intend to do, for the office that you're asking for. But let me first begin with, what have you been working on? How long have you been vice president? When did you become vice president, and what have you been working on?
So I became vice president in 2019. It's supposed to be a term of, for 2 years. And during that time, the vice president's role is pretty much help the president wherever the president cannot. Whenever the president needs you, you have to come and fill in and do the duties that are required to be done by the president in his absence. So I remember we've had it. So right after our election, towards the end of 2019, early 2000, we had a pandemic. The pandemic came in. So pretty much everything came on hold, on standstill. So there was not much that was done at the level of at the community level because of the pandemic. Usually we have 7 different events in a year that we have as an organization. But since the pandemic, everything had to come to a standstill, and we had to reevaluate everything and see what should we do, what should we not do, how should we do it if we want to do it, and all of that. And I remember the president during that time gave me a responsibility to make sure that people who are trapped, because I remember during the the early stages of the pandemic, a lot of people, we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what this virus was. We didn't know how long it was going to last. We had no vaccines, and when we went in a total complete lockdown, and when people didn't have food and people didn't have anything to use in their houses, and they were running out of house things, just normal things to use in their houses, the communities stood up, and we decided we had to help our people, and the president got in touch with uh, Reverend the office of Reverend Jesse Jackson, and he got in touch with Reverend Jesse Jackson, and then he connected me because he had other important official duties that he was, doing. So he connected me, and he let me, carry on that operation. So we created a task force that was intended to collect needful things that people need in their houses to survive the pandemic. And we gathered a lot of things, including food. So every Friday we would go to Rainbow Push in Hyde Park and get boxes and boxes of food and other materials and supply to our people in the community. And I think people appreciated that initiative. So yeah, basically that's that. But since we know now where this pandemic is going, we have the vaccines, and we've learned more about this virus. I feel like business is opening up as usual, and we're moving in the right direction. And on that note, I would encourage actually community members to get the vaccines. Those who have not got the vaccine yet, go get your shots. They are free, and information has been passing around where you can get these shots free of charge, so that we can get back to to business. And pretty much that's it. But I want to step up when I get into that office, and start from where Mr. Matanda, the current president, outgoing president, has has stopped, because he has laid a very strong foundation for the community to prosper and move on from there, like all other past presidents have done. So I want to build, my agenda, my agenda priority is very simple, is just build on what has been laid already.
Okay, all right. From all, I think it's fair to say that Kizito has a passion for community service, and I say this because I've been watching since you got here. I've been here, and when you got here, I've been watching you. And others would agree with me that Kizito has a passion, very strong passion for community service. What drives you? Where does that come from?
So that's interesting, and that is a question I've asked myself before, because I always wanted, like, where is this coming from? When you have a burning desire to do something, and sometimes you're like, okay, so where is this even coming from? Because sometimes you get criticism, like from family. You don't give us enough time because you are serving everybody in the community but us, or something like that. And then you sit to one and question yourself, okay, so why? Where is this even coming from? But my father was a community leader at a community level, and he served, back in the days, he served in the government, and then he served at the community level after retiring. And I kind of like, I think it's kind of like inherited. I don't know, but I feel like it is within the lineage, but because this has been my life everywhere I've been, in schools, in primary school, secondary school, and in college, leadership has been following me. But this time around, when I moved here, things struck differently. There's something special about this community. When I moved here 7 years ago, I remember my first time to see a gathering and see more than about more than 4 Ugandans that I was used to seeing every day. I went to, I think it was a prayer interfaith event that was going, a community event, and that was my first event in the community. And that day I had an opportunity to meet more Ugandans from around Chicago, and I was extremely happy. I remember, and I went greeting everyone, saying hello to everyone. That day I was thrilled. So what happened to me that day, that kind of happiness, to feel a sense, I had a sense of belonging that day. And I was extremely happy to be 8,000 miles away from home and be able to meet people that you can speak to in your language. That is extremely important when you move to the diaspora. So what happened a week later after that, I had a conversation with Muchala Musumba Yahweh, who's Mrs. Reste Bold Yahweh. And we're talking about community and all of that. So I was thankful. I was being thankful because they took me to the event. And I was happy because I saw a lot of Ugandans. And in my head, I'm thinking everyone should be here. Everyone in Illinois, in Chicago, is here on this event. So it was like maybe a little over 20 people. And I was like, yeah, wow, that's a lot. Because of course there cannot be more than 20 people around here. And then they tell me that there's actually more people. There's more people in Chicago. There's more Ugandans in Chicago, but we had a split. We had a disagreement and and then the community split up. And that broke my heart. I was disappointed. I was like, what happened? What could have happened that would bring a group of people from the same country, 8,000 miles away from home, split up instead of coming together and work for the common good as a family? So that day I set my heart to serving in this community, working together with whoever I could work with to see if we could bring unity. I remember vividly, I told Mrs. Yahweh that as long as I'm still in Chicago, I am going to work, hard to make sure that, this community comes together, because I believe in unity. In unity, we get strength. And so that's how you've been seeing me. I'm pretty much sure I've been branded Mr. Unity for some time. We created a youth organization, a UIU, specifically to bring to initiate talks between different leaders, to get into unity talks and all that. And so since then, it's been about, I think it's been solid 7 years since then. I've been passionately trying to get involved, and I stopped talking to people and just talk, and then I decided to get into leadership and walk that talk and be active, because I understood that people that make these decisions, that influential decisions, are in office, and if you cannot convince them, then you try to get in that office where they are, so that you can drive this agenda, which I think most Ugandans in Chicago like. So that's where the passion is coming from, specifically for this community. That is where the passion is coming from. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I can see and I know, I can tell how passionate you get about this subject. And I also know that it is just like you hinted. You reminded me that UIU, United. Is it UIU? Youth United.
Ugandan Youths United.
Ugandan Youth United was an initiative you started working with your colleagues
Yes.
And you're trying to bring the youth together and identify the programs that matter to them, because at the time, and I think it still continues to be the case, there's a
Yes.
challenge of how do we involve the youth in a community to participate actively and actually step up into leadership. So for you to having stepped up into leadership was good, because you gave them an example, and you continue for you to continue to do that is a. Did we freeze?
I think you I think you
I
I think
did.
yeah, I think you did.
Ekyo kye bayita okusoomoozebwa mu Luganda, kye tuyita okusoomoozebwa okw'ebyuma bikalimagezi. Nze kennyini hosti ate nze gwe bigobye, naye tukomyewo. Hey, our viewers, we apologize for that technical glitch. We continue with the conversation with the Ugandan president of Greater Chicago, Vice President, Mr. Kizito Kibyami. And I was asking him, because I was saying Ugandan Youth United is an initiative that he started working with others, and they were trying to fill the gap in the community, which was the youth feel sort of disconnected, and looked like it was an issue of lack of programming, relevant programming to them, right? So for you to have made the decision to step up and actually participate into the community leadership is a great thing, because it gives them inspiration, right? It's like,
Yes.
okay, there's room for us. And it is that, let me use the opportunity to present this question that I saw pop up in the question, the QA chat here. Mr. Nicholas Kalanzi has that question. I don't know if you can read it, but let me read it for you. He says, do you have any idea or ideas of programs that would interest the youth, who most of them are American born, right?
Yeah, I would like to thank Mr. Kalanzi for tuning in and for that question and giving me the opportunity to actually share my ideas on how to go about that, because I think we have a big problem in the community with kids who are born here, and I think they're having kind of like an identity crisis, because they don't know, they come to communities, they come to the Ghanaian community, but for one challenge we have is that we struggle with these kids not speaking Luganda, not being able to speak their Ugandan tongue, their Ugandan languages. And so when they come to the community events, when everyone else is speaking Luganda and Lunyankole and these other different languages, they don't feel that they fit in. And when they go out to their like schools and all of that, they're not still like they don't, they're not fitting in well, as so they are left in between. And I feel like as a community we need to find a way to accommodate our people, like kids that are born here, kids that came here as when they are still young. And I think one of of the programs that I was thinking, I was actually discussing this with Mr. Kalanzi a couple of years ago, is that there's certain there's a couple of things we can do. One of them is that during these events when all of us come together. Say, for instance, an event like a Christmas Day event. We can have a separate Christmas event for the kids, specifically for the kids. That way, they know each other, they can associate with each other, they get to know who is who, they know their vibe is different from our vibe, their accent is different from our accent. Their kind of food is different, their kind of music is different. I feel like we need to have programs that help these kids like find, feel at home when we have to make them feel at home in a way that they don't come to the events and then just sit because mom is here. So we need to create, that is one way I think that has to be that we can do this. On Christmas Day, we can have a different event for the kids, a specific event for the kids so that they can bond with each other and connect with each other. This is going to encourage, young people, young Ugandan Americans that are born here to get involved in their community, because they will feel like they belong. They will get a sense of belonging. Another program that I think needs to be just empowered. It is still, I think it is in the working. It's been shaky. And again, it has been this pandemic that has destabilized us. But we have a Luganda class, cultural dance program, where our kids that are born here and those who came here and they don't speak the Luganda anymore go and learn to speak their language. So we have people who have stepped up, volunteer to teach the language. So these people have been coming. These parents have been bringing their kids to these classes to learn the language, to learn their culture. They are taught about their culture and the language. We have cultural dance, especially Maganda, classes that have been, going on where these kids, again, they come, and they're taught how to, dance our cultural dances. These programs just need to be amplified. I feel like parents needs to be taught on what is the actual agenda. I think the biggest challenge we've been having is distance, because we are, spread out across the state, because you have some kids that are in Champaign. How do you have those kids to Chicago where the class is? Some kids are in Naperville and others are in Crystal Lake. How do you take these classes to a place where everyone feels that it is convenient for them to drop off their kids? That is a challenge we have. How many classes can you have in a week, during summer? Maybe we can have different classes where, a Luganda class, Luganda cultural dance class is, we have one in the northwest suburbs, and then we have one in the southern suburbs, where everyone, people in the southern suburbs can, gather and drop off their kids for these classes. And then those in the north, they know, northwestern suburbs, they know where to drop off their kids, to get in these classes and, feel that they get into the more, their culture, learn their language, learn, how to dance, and then get that sense of belonging where they feel like they are, okay, so I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm a Uganda. I feel like I belong in this community. And then later on, as they go on, being able to speak their language, they can dance some Chiganda, they can Ntogoro, they can dance all these kind of dances. They will feel the need to come back to the community and serve. So I think, I don't know if I answered Mr. Kalans right, but I think these are some of the programs that I have in mind that just needs to be amplified and put into action.
Great, thank you very much. Those who are joining us just joining us, we are continuing with the conversation with the presidential aspirant, Ugandan community in Greater Chicago, Mr. Kizito Kibyami. He's telling us a little bit about how he has been seeing things and what he intends to do. I see a lot of people watching, following. Moses Sereko said he was watching from Germany. And I think he said, be objective, give us your ideology in conjunction with our future interests. I don't know if you know Mr. Sereko. Looks like he's looking for your ideology. What is your ideology? Right? And I think I also saw somebody says Kizito. Looks like somebody who knows you, and he's got a nickname for you. But anyway, continuing, the youth, right? I watching you over the years, it looks like the other thing you kept on identifying was that career development programs was a challenge in the community. Having served in a position of vice presidency, I know the pandemic was an issue, but you must have been thinking about this. Where do you see the gaps in terms of career development, and what do you think you can do about it?
Well,
career development.
Yeah, there's three things that I wrote down as the biggest challenge that we face as immigrants, and we face as Ugandans when we move to this country. And if you fail in these three things, you are going to fail in America.
Okay.
Three things. The first thing that you have to put right is your immigration status. The next thing that you have to put right is your financial literacy. And when I say, financial literacy is, I mean, you need to be literate on how to handle your finances, because we have a different culture on how we handle finances in Uganda than how it is done here. The third one is so financial literacy that involves credit. When I talk about financial literacy, I'm talking about specifically credit, because we don't have a credit system in Uganda. And when we get here and get excited, that credit, can actually destroy you in this country if you don't know how to approach it. And the third one would be education. So those three things: immigration, financial literacy, stroke credit, knowledge, and education can make you or break you in this country. And let me begin specifically with what you've mentioned about the financial, the career guidance and development. When people come here, we get here, some people come to you from Uganda with, their bachelor's, degrees. Some come here with their masters. The other day, not so long ago, I think we remember a gentleman that I helped that, came in from Uganda, and he was stuck and he didn't know what to do, where to go, and how to go about anything. I found out later on, talking to this guy, that he had like 4 degrees, including a PhD.
Yeah.
Including a PhD, and people come, and there's this trench that people fall into and get stuck, and they don't know what to do. So
is it an information issue there? Is it a gap? There
is a gap that people who know, who have the information, do not either have the chance to share out this information to new people who are just coming in, or they just don't know who to share it to, or they just don't like to share it to because they are busy. But I think what needs to be done is we need to create a program where when people come in from Uganda, they need to be, I know people don't want to be like tracked down, but if someone comes to me, say for instance, if someone comes to any leader in the community, I'm new to Chicago, I'm new in the US, I'm new here, I need help, I need to be guided on how to go about my education. I want to go back to school. How do I go about financial aid? Where do I start? If I told you my story, I think this would be a story for another day. How I got into school, man, that was something. Now, everyone is not going to be like me, because I didn't have my credentials when I came here. Like, I didn't have my high school diplomas and all that. I didn't have any of the papers, but I needed to go to school. I had to find my way into the door. Everyone is not like me. It's not going to be like me. Some people have different personalities. People have different characters. People have a different one how they approach life. But I feel like everyone needs to get a fair share, a fair chance on how to go about their education if they want to go back to school, and be given a variety of professions that are out there, because we tend to think that the only thing we can do in America when you get here is get into healthcare, get into nursing. It's the only thing that we can do. No. There's a lot of things that can be done, a variety of professions that can be.
For example, throw us some too now.
So, for instance, for example, we have IT specialists in the community, like you. Those are jobs, and that is easy to get into, actually. We have IT specialists in the community. We have lawyers, attorneys in different spaces, different kinds of lawyers. We have engineers, chemical engineers. We have, engineer. We have Mr. Sally. He's a chemical engineer in the community. We have Luasa, who is a Boeing, airplane engineer. These people can be utilized to help guide people who just came in from Uganda to find an idea on where they could fit in, what they want to do, what can I do, where can I fit in, what can I do. So here's what I think we need to do. What needs to be established is a program where you find individuals in different professions, from an IT, someone from IT, another one from all, sorts of engineering. We have chemical engineers, we have electrical engineers, and then doctors in different fields, nurses in different fields. Approach them as the leadership. Approach these people in different career backgrounds. Ask if they are willing to offer their advice. Take some people, new people under their wings, and advise them on how they went about their education and how they got successful.
Mentorship.
Mentorship, yes. So that way, if we have, say for instance, 10 mentors in the community in different professions, only 10. If you're mentoring 10 people who just came in from Uganda, and these people become successful 10 years, 7 years, 5 years down the road, you are helping to develop the community. Because the community does not develop by, bringing in resources from different organizations and helping people. I don't believe in helping people, feeding people with, handouts. That is not how we do it in Uganda. I don't believe in people coming here and then going to the food, pantry, the state or whatever, and then get, free handouts, free food, free housing. No, that's not how we do it in Uganda. And when you come here, you want to be better, So you don't develop a community by doing that. You help develop a community by helping some individuals, specifically individuals, develop themselves so that they can bring back to the community in a long run. Yeah. I think a specific example is mine. When I came here, a few people helped me. This community helped me to get where I am. That's the first thing. Mr. Yahweh took me in for almost 9 months. He fed me. He housed me. He gave me clothes for almost 9 months, free of charge. And during this time, I'm learning. He's telling me, this is what you need to do. This would be a good idea to do. This would be a good thing to do. This and that and that. And then Mr. Matanda, and I remember having a conversation with Eddie, with Chove, Mr. Chove, about credit. I don't think he even remembers that. But that was one thing that actually, it helped me to figure out this credit thing and then not getting too stuck in the credit system. But to go back to the point, because I was helped, because I was given a safe landing, I was able to build on that and get where I am right now. I have my career set to go.
In a space of 5 years or 5 to 7 years, that's quite a remarkable.
Yeah. So now I'm able to come back to the community and serve in a different capacity because I was helped, a couple years ago, But if you leave these people not attended to, and they keep struggling for years, you know how America is. I've seen people who come to me with paranoid schizophrenia because they couldn't do the stress of this country can literally, run you crazy. So if you get these people helped and settle in well, lay good foundation, you are helping the community. That is one aspect I talked about. Education, career background, and career development, mentorship programs that we need to have in the community. The other two aspects are immigration and financial literacy. And let me talk about the financial part, the financial credit part. We do not have a credit system in Uganda. We do not have a credit system in Uganda. So
we have land titles, and we drop them off at the embassy sometimes, but that's
exactly. But that's different. It's a completely, totally different system on how it works here. So
something is starting to emerge recently, but it's still at very infancy. So we don't come with knowing about credit. Most people,
exactly. And when we get here, we tend to think that it is well. I'm in America, oh hallelujah, thank God. Now, remember one thing. In this country, when you get here, they may want, before you even get your immigration status right, the first thing that they will give you when you apply for something is your social security card. Did you freeze again? What do freezes in there?
I know. It's something challenging me here today, but keep going.
Yeah. So I was talking about the credit system. The first thing that you get, the first document that the government will issue you here is your social security card. And what people don't realize is that there's a reason why that is the first document they are going to send you. They're going to give you, because whether you're granted full rights, citizenship, green card, or other immigration statuses, now or never, they have to make sure that they benefit from you. And they will not be able to benefit from you if you don't have a social security card. So what happens, they're going to issue you a social security card first. And once you get that social security card, credit card system, you get into the system, then credit card companies are going to start contacting you. Before you know it, you have an address, an email, a document comes in the mail. You have an offer of $1,000 in a credit card. You have an offer of $500 in credit card. You have an offer of $10,000 in credit card. So when these things come in, these people, new Ugandans in our community, don't know how to go about this. They get excited and get these cards, activate the cards, start swiping the cards. You see how they get, trapped in the credit system? Now they've swiped one card, two cards, three cards, and now they get into a date of like whatever much, I don't know. They cannot pay back because they cannot afford to. Someone didn't advise these people on how to go about this.
Okay.
So now they're trapped in the credit, system of this country that is going to destroy them for the big part of their career, of their life in this country. Now you have to clear your credit. You know how tough that is. Before you can get a house, before you can buy anything, before you can get anywhere, you need a good credit. With everything here starts with credit. In terms of finances, starts with credit. Poor credit, you're gone. So what I think needs to be done is just like how when we initiated UIU, our program was, and we used to have people come in and educate, our youths and people who just came in about credits, about saving skills, about how do you open a bank account, all of these details in the US. And this needs to be done at a bigger level than just doing it for the youths. We need to have maybe seminars once a year or maybe twice a year to educate people who just came in and the young ones about savings, about life insurance, about the credit system. And so we can help them set a good foundation on how to be successful in this country. Again, I take you back to my point. If you do not help people who come from Uganda right from the word go and help them establish a good foundation, you are not helping to develop a community.
Okay, so get them. There should be a mechanism.
There should be a mechanism
of onboarding, so to speak. Somebody, the moment they get off the airplane, this is the processes.
Yep.
I was talking to another leader in is Colorado. I think he's based out of Colorado, right? Paul Nteafa, right? Yeah, Paul Nteafa represents that region.
I know him.
Yeah, and he was telling me he has a 90-day program. He's built a 90-day program where the moment somebody gets into his hands and he has deliverables. At this time they should have this. This time they should have that. In 90 days, he expects them to at least to be able to drive a car, have a driving license, that sort of a thing. So he's kind of built and narrowed it down to some deliverables. This is the period. This is what you should expect the moment we get somebody coming in from, overseas. The first time they get here, and he's got something mapped out. So I guess maybe that is what needs to happen. Collaborate with others outside this community and see what they have done successfully, and try and inculcate here, right?
Yes, I intend to. I've already talked to Mr. Paul Nteafa, and I intend to incorporate his program in the Chicago community. I admire his way of doing things, and I want to, go to Colorado and see how he does it, and see if we can incorporate that and see if we can do that in Chicago. I also, and that's a good point you bring. You highlight that we need to see what other communities are doing better and copy that if it is going to be helpful. The other aspect of laying a good foundation in this country was that I want to talk about is immigration. And when you talk about working with other communities, I intend to work with Mr. Mpima from Seattle. I think he has a good immigration program, the immigration guide program. So working with him and other lawyers, immigration attorneys that I know, like Mr. Mwonge of Wisconsin, will help us to navigate the because I think that's a very complicated, delicate, matter. The immigration thing. It can completely destroy you or make you.
Yeah.
Here. The other two, can keep going. You can go to school. You can find a way to go to school. You can have a good credit. You can find a way to navigate your finances and all that. Still without the proper immigration documentation is bad, and when it is still pending. But all that can go into, it can go south so quickly if your immigration status is not sought out, well. So I intend to work with I've talked to him, during the campaigns. I want to give him a call and maybe visit him and see how we can work together. If I get in office, see how we can work together and have his, program incorporated and be helpful for our members in Chicago.
Got it. Yeah. And speaking of collaborating with others out there, Mr. Mpima, I'm glad you bring him up. And there was another idea again from Moses in Seriko, who says, why don't you create an app? Yes, technology is one way to automate and simplify some of these community service aspects. So yeah, going forward, I mean, using technology is one way to do it. And Mr. Mpima has worked on an app, again, on the immigration side. And once you have somebody who has gone through that, and maybe they could add other functionality and make it a fully-fledged community service app. So I bring it up because Mr. Nsereko is thinking technology, and he's wondering if we have any such ideas. Yeah, we have people on the US here who have tried to use technology, build apps to ease community service work. So Mr. Mpima, who has just been discussing, is one of those. He's built one for immigration. And I also, following and watching us, is Mr. Henry Sadi. Mr. Henry Sadi is in Canada. Mr. Henry Sadi is also a servant on the UNA side. He recently was one of the commissioners, and they recently concluded the election. And he's wondering what, if any, you can do, or what strategies would you use to empower people who seemingly don't want to be emancipated? That's a loaded one. I don't know if you want to bite it. You know what? Emancipation is freeing ourselves from whatever bonds, right? Whether it is you feel like remnants of slavery or whatever. So, maybe our mindset, right? We're coming in with the mindsets from Uganda, from our society, that maybe sometimes tend to hold us back. So in other words, mindsets. I think maybe that's what he's thinking. Looks like they were part of, like, what I'm trying to do is bring on different speakers to talk about different subjects. Is also aimed at changing mindsets, because without proper mindsets, we will not be able to move to where we want to go. So we want to change mindsets. I think that's what he's thinking. So what strategies do you think in terms of mobilization, continuing to mobilize and bring people into, what are some of the things that you've been discussing?
Okay, so first I need to want to thank Mr. Nsereko. He's watching all the way from Germany, and I think in Germany it's night. They should be in bed. So I want to recognize Mr. Nsereko Moses for that. And he has mentioned something about the apps for easier, that can make it easier for some people. And I think that's a great idea. What I was thinking about doing, for the leadership to do and to initiate would be to have a database. And I think this is something that can, if UNA, the umbrella that takes us, had a database, it would be easier to tap on that. But I don't think they have a database. I think our communities needs to have, you need to know who is who, where they are. Because at the end of the day, these people are going to, if anything happens, you've seen this, where in leadership, and people get all kind of issues, and you get phone calls from maybe the police or someone who has just got your your phone number from the from the website. Hey, there's a Ugandan here stuck. There's a Ugandan here in some sort of a problem. How you know him? How can you help? And you've never had or seen this person before. You get to know, you get to hear about them, So I'm thinking the apps thing in conjunction with a database, if we create a database and get to know, who is where and how easily can they access us, besides using the website that we have. I think an app idea would be a good idea. But I will try to make research on that and see how we can incorporate that, and see how that can be more helpful.
Okay, yeah. I just use the opportunity to point out the Uganda North American Association has a database of its current membership. Maybe they needed to maintain a wider database of all Ugandans living there, even if they are non-members. But at least as far as membership is concerned, yes,
they have. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's good to know. We need to have a database of all Ugandans, non-members of the associations, all non-members, because there are people there who cannot afford to pay the membership fees. Are you going to, not care about them because they are not members of the association? No. And then Mr. Sally, I want Mr. Sally Henry, my friend in Canada. He's talking about how, the kind of programs we need to. Can you pop up his question again?
Yeah, says,
what strategies will you use to empower people who seemingly don't want to be?
That's what is technical.
And that's a good question, but it is a very powerful question, and it is a very powerful. Its power is in who seemingly don't want to. And I think, like he said, seemingly, which is assuming, because when you look at certain, things, you really assume that people do not want to be emancipated, even though the resources are here. A good example is when we get here, we have access to a lot of things. When you get in this country, this is the land of opportunities. That's so as they say, and there's countless opportunities here. If you want the right place at the right time, you can literally get, do yourself some good. One thing that bothers me, in terms of mindset, is the life insurance thing. People, I know we are not into the culture of insurance so that much in Uganda. But when you get here and get to know that all insurance is required, you cannot drive your car without insurance, car insurance. Okay? When you get to know that is actually essential, that is very important to have insurance on your car, then why don't you think it is important for you to have insurance on your life?
Good question. Yeah.
People, they do this because they allow themselves, to get into that trench of like, I don't know. I never get sick. I've not been sick. I've not seen a doctor in 5 years. Why? So why do I need a health insurance, or why do I need a life insurance? I've never lost anyone in 10 years. Why is the life insurance for? But this is a mentality that needs to be changed, whether you like it or not. Recently, we've had, in Chicago specifically, I think in the last 1.5 years, we've lost 2 people. And the first one had insurance, life insurance through his job. He had life insurance through his job. And listen what happened. When the pandemic hit, he lost his job. And you know what happened?
He lost his insurance.
He lost his insurance. And then the unexpected happened. He happened to have a chronic disease that he wasn't aware of. Got in a hospital, and we lost him just like that. Now he had just lost his insurance, life insurance. We had to navigate this situation, tiptoeing, collect money here and there so that we can take his remains back home. But we know, and some people think well, it will not be my responsibility anymore when I live, when I die. So why should I have life insurance? But you're not that is being selfish. You're not thinking about everyone else that cares about you, your kids, your family. It is important to have life insurance, especially when we are 8,000 miles away from home and we want to be taken back home. Life insurance can be beneficial in so many ways. I'm not an insurance, expert, but I know I have a comprehensive life insurance myself and my family because I know the importance of that. So that is another way we need to find. Because I think we besides all these other programs that we can create to help our people get emancipated, then those who do not want to, sometimes these topics have to be implemented without even talking much. So like the life insurance topic, people may never understand that. We're still getting people from Uganda, okay? Every year we're getting new people, and these people, someone who just came in when they are 25 years old, they've never had life insurance before. How are you going to convince them head on first time you see them that oh my God, you need life insurance? How are you going to convince this person? It is not going to be easy. Even if when you bring like people from insurance to teach them, Ugandans have, I'm sorry to say this, but I have experienced this. Our attention span when we are in a gathering receiving information is not that long. So when you bring people to teach people about insurance in an event, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes into the speech, into the delivering this message, people are going to be like, they'll start murmuring. They'll start thinking about food. They'll start talking about other stuff. So we need to find a better way on how to, attack this specifically life insurance thing. I'm talking about life insurance because it is one way that I feel like people do not want to be emancipated. They don't want to know. They just don't give it enough attention. And here's what I was thinking. And I think, as you saw in my manifesto, what we need to do as leaders in different communities is, if they put you in office, then you have the mandate, you have the responsibility to think and implement some programs on behalf of the members of the community. I'll give you an example. In UCiGC, membership fees per year is $100. And people pay up their membership. They may delay, but they will pay their membership. If someone is willing to pay $100 membership fee, to be associated with UCiGC, without a clear idea of what exactly they are going to get back for their money, then surely we can attach something to that fee, maybe a little bit extra, and then provide these people with insurance. We can have a group insurance, for instance, and attach whatever fee that person pays per year, attach that to their membership, so that when they pay their membership fees, they have paid life insurance in that process.
Okay.
Today, I had a chance to be in a webinar from Centenary Bank, and I'm trying to see how we can have people from different banks from Uganda, come down to our communities instead of just stopping at UNA level, but come down to our communities, because there are people who don't go to the UNA conventions every year. Salong, are you still there?
Yeah, with my challenges, but
okay. So what I was saying is, if we can find a way to incorporate membership fees with life insurance fees, payments, annual payments.
So you want to sort of fuse or the life insurance aspect with membership. So, in other words, if whoever subscribes to be a member, then as part of that,
Yes,
they get insurance. Okay,
they get insurance. They are insured. When they subscribe to the association, their membership comes with life insurance. Now we just need to navigate and get to know how much that is going to be. We need to digest this further. We need to talk to specialists and get to know. When I get in office, good thing is a person who's running as my running mate is an insurance agent. So she has an experience in insurance. So we are going to find a way we can work with other different insurances and see what package we can come up with for our people and have a group insurance so that we navigate a way we can, do away with the problem of people who seemingly don't want to be emancipated. At the end of the day, when someone gets a problem, guess who is involved to solve this problem? When someone dies, when someone gets, a terminal illness, it is the leadership. So if we step in and make decisions for those that we've lost on their behalf when they are not here, why don't we make decisions on their behalf when they are still here, so that they can have a better life?
Got it. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, let me see. Do we have any other, any more? Going down the list here. This one I think you hinted at to go, but I'll in the beginning, but I'll put it up. Mwami Kaka Sentamu Junior. Why do we have two communities in Chicago? That is, I don't know if it is. We can blame it on Kizito. Kizito found us that way. He has had something to say about it, but yeah, Mr. He continues to passionately pursue that. Why do we have two of those in Chicago? That's Kaka Sentamu. Let's see. Yeah, I think everything else, Mr. Kalanzi had the two of them.
Nze ndabika oba onzigyeko kubanga sikyakuwulira.
Yes. Oh, you're still here, and I am here. I was scrolling through the list and I clicked the wrong button there. Anyway, looks like we have went through the Q&A role here, and so as we start to wrap up, maybe we should take a quick commercial break here, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up, right? Let me see. We have our community members who are in a business here. I think I had
Katukwanjulire Event Concepts. Obeera mu America, osula mu America, oli mu East Coast, West Coast oba Pacific. Event Concepts ye kampuni eyeewaayo okunyiriza omukolo gwo. Tuukiriza ebirooto by'omukolo gwo ng'otukozesa okugutimba, okukukolera cakes oba okupangisa eby'okutimbisa. Amakanda gaffe gali Chicago, naye nga buli w'oli otufuna. Oyina birthday, kwanjula, mbaga oba kasiki. Event Concepts weeri okukuyambako. Tulina obumanyirivu bwa myaka okukusa obuwoomi bwa keeki eri ey'e Uganda. Kale nno tutuukirire ku www.eventconcept.ua oba tukubire ku ssimu 224-41-12-56 oba 847-361-798 ngambye 224-441-1256 oba 847-361-7198. Yifeba Event Concept banno ddala mu mikolo.
Are you living or planning to go abroad? You can continue to save, borrow, invest, and insure with us. Open a diaspora account and enjoy convenient banking wherever you are in the world. With your Equity Diaspora account, you enjoy the option to operate your account in Ugandan shillings or foreign currency. No minimum balance to open or operate the account. Free monthly e-statements. No monthly account maintenance fees. 24/7 access to your account anywhere, anytime via EasyNet, Easy Banking app, or Equity Card. Our clients have 24-hour access to the support center. Talk to our branch team today for more information. Bank wherever you are in the world with the Equity Diaspora account.
All right. Two more popped up here.
Okay.
Still staying with the community issue. Mr. Sadi is still wondering, do you have any intentions to try to unite the two communities?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Asaba is saying, what strategies do you have to bring the leadership closer to the people? Sounds like he's saying that, it looks like leaders, in his view, looks like leaders are a little bit distant, they're aloof, they're not as close to the people. I don't know if you share the same view or you have something to say to him.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Let's bite those two and then we'll start to wrap up.
Okay, so I will start with can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Loud and clear. Okay, so I'll start with Mr. Kaka Jr. and I want appreciate everyone that is watching. Mm-hmm. And he said, why do we have two communities? And I think this merges together with Mr. Sally's question. Do I intend to unite the two communities? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll merge those two questions together. The I was not here when the split happened, and like you said, but I found out pretty soon when I got here that the split had happened, and I think it happened like just a year before I got here. And to be honest with you, I don't know exactly why that is. But whatever happened 8 years ago, I believe it has taken time for people to process their feelings. And I feel like this is the right time to bring people together, to try and bring this community together as one. It is about time. You can feel it. You can feel it when you talk to people. You can hear it. It is about time. What I was, experiencing, seeing when I was talking unity 4 years ago is different now. The tone has changed. The language has changed. Okay. Some things need time. What happened 8 years ago was something that was personal. Some of these things are personal to different people. Mm-hmm. So I realized that, tackling it head on, just talking and approaching so and so at the time was not going to be effective. And that's why I chose to, so sit back and, try to study this situation from a depth, exclusively and get to know who is who, who is worried about what, who is concerned about what does it take for this person what will it take for this person to come on the table, and some of these things are not going to be like, say, for instance, unity may not happen by us sitting on the table, straightforward first time and just write sign documents
on paper, I
feel like people need to feel comfortable first with each other, those that wronged other people. And when you look at what is going on right now, you kind of like sense that we have all kind of events, personal, private events, graduation parties, funerals, graduation parties and all these kind of other parties, weddings, introduction parties, and people come together. People you think were actual at loggerheads, they come together and enjoy a meal together and they will have a conversation together. And I was not seeing this 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It is happening now. And I feel like what needs to be done right now is to have the two calendars, find a way we can harmoniously work out a situation where we don't have to have two events on the same day. We can have different events, but on different days, so that we give members a chance to attend any event they feel like attending. That is something that I'm going to work on, and I think it is a strategy that will help us bring together this community. And when you look at my motto, it involves unity. That unity is my number one. It's my number one on the agenda. We need to bring this community together, back together, and that's the only way we're going to develop. And that, I think, answers Mr. Junior and Mr. Sally's question. My intention, yes, I intend to, try to unite this community. For all my time I've been in Chicago, 7 years, that has been the thing on my head. People who know me know that is, I'm not hiding behind, the curtains when it comes to unity. It is something that is personal with me. It is something that I want to see in Chicago. If that does not, let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't lay a good foundation to unite this community, if I get in office and that does not happen, if I don't unite, listen to me very carefully.
Mm.
If I get in office and during my term, first or second, if I don't lay a good foundation that helps the next executive to bring about unity. If I do not bring about unity within that period of time, I will have failed.
Mm-hmm. You've said yourself. That's your.
Yes, I will have failed. I'm telling you. And I feel like I'm confident because I feel like this is the right time. There's never going to be another time. It is ripe right now. You hit, and a road when it is still hot. So that's the only way you can bend. I feel like it is hot now. It is ripe right now. Eryemvu olikwata nga lyengedde bulungi osobola okuliweta n'eriweteka okitegeera bwe liba likyali tto likutukamu bukutusi okitegeera. So I think that I've said what I have to say. That is what is my number one priority, is to try to bring this community together, because I feel like everything else will follow suit after that. Now, Mr. Asaba asked a question, and I thank him for that question. What strategies do we have to bring leadership to the people? And that is, kind of a question an educated teacher would ask. Really.
Asaba, yes.
I think it is going to be easy. Community leadership. I feel like people misinterpret community leadership. This is a voluntary work. Community leadership is about interacting with people. It is not something that you get paid for. It is a passionate, if you don't want to interact with your people at a personal level, get to know who is who, get to know if they are okay, give them a call when they don't expect it, ask how they spent their night, how was their day, get to know your people. Then you are known serving as a community leader, in my view. Anybody who knows me knows that that is the kind of a person I am. A bubbly, happy person that is going to literally give a random hug to anyone, in the community. I think the strategy is simple. Get to the people. That's it. There's no need to have we need to have all these other programs. All these other programs that I've talked about will help leaders. If I get in office, people who are going to be serving with me will help them merge the gap between the people and the leaders, because these products have to get to people. You cannot deliver these products to people if you're not engaging with people.
There you have it. Engagement.
Yes.
And agafa mubwengula is one way to engage with the people, and you're always welcome here.
And I thank you for that opportunity. This is, by the way, one thing that I don't know if I can say this. As I was watching the commercials, I smiled. When you're doing your commercials, I smiled because in the last 3 years, we've had vibrant, business-minded entrepreneurs erupt in our community.
Yes.
We have event concepts. We have Dennis's production. We have Muziki Oye DJs. We have Mr. Asaba himself. With his Afrobest. We have Tuchikube. All these programs, some have been here, but most of them, I would say 5 out of 6 or 7 have erupted in the last 2-3 years. We have a restaurant, Ugandan, food restaurant. There's more than one person that does that. We have people who are, there's a Power Troop. Power Troop just launched the other day. It's a cultural dance, music, something like that. So we, as I was watching that, I was smiling. We need, as the community, we need to step up. My agenda, priorities are going to be about developing the community, uniting and developing communities. And listen to me, when you think about this unity and these unities that we have, it is not helping at all. Because let me tell you one thing, and people will realize this. Listen, so when you find that, say for instance, Dennis's production is affiliated with, pays his membership is in UCiGC. Are you not going to hire Dennis's production if you're a UCI member? If you find that Afro-Bass is the best thing that is going to give you the best experience on your event, are you not going to hire Afro-Bass? I intend to introduce a contract basis program where we are going to start signing contracts as an organization with people who have services, our own people who have services in the community, regardless of where they are affiliated.
As long as their service is good, it meets the price.
As long as their service is good,
it's competitively priced.
Yes, we are going to contract to them. I don't care. We are going to contract to them, and that is one way. That is one way you bring people together. If Lawrence Asaba comes to UCiGC at a function and he knows he's being paid, he's contracted for that event, and then he performs and people like it, then what's wrong with that? If Muziki Oye DJs goes to UCiGC and perform, UCI and perform, if Dennis makes food if Dennis's production can make food on a private event for Mr. Serunkuma, why can he not make food on a private event for Mr. Matanda? You get my point? So I intend to have our own business, our own entrepreneurs, help them expand their businesses by first contracting them.
Giving them business.
Yes, give them business.
Right.
And whoever has the best service And the good thing is there's going to be competition. And it is healthy. Competition is healthy. It helps you, develop, get better. So yes, I thank you for, putting them out here so that everyone knows they exist, event concepts and, other people, Dennis's production and Afro Bass and Muziki Oye and everyone who is there. I encourage them to actually come and, give you business as well, because that's what they should be doing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right, absolutely. Well, in both as we say, to keep being those that this is an all-hour plus. Our viewers, those who are following us, you're much appreciated for staying with us all this long. Kizito Davis Kibyami has been my guest today. He is currently the Ugandan community in Greater Chicago vice president and is aspiring this time around to become full president. And we wish him the very best in this endeavor and the upcoming elections, October 29th. So, October 9th. What's going on? What should we expect there? I think you talked about it, but let's use the opportunity to close this with information about that event.
Yeah, so what is happening October 9th, UCiGC Independence event is going to be a little bit different this time around because we have elections. We usually don't have elections every year, certainly. So it is going to be a little bit different. So the program is going to be set at 5 p.m. Guests come in. We're going to start with elections, and elections will go through, as we go on until everyone is done, and think until like around 8. Mm-hmm. So as elections are going through, are happening, we will have the Independence Day event, go on. So we'll have speakers talking about those who know about what happened during the independence, give us the history and the beauty of Uganda. What is it like? And people who know what exactly happened. And then we'll have an AGM, the annual general meeting happen, and we'll have questions and answers session after the president's report. We will have the treasurer's report. We have I think we've been having a constitutional amendment review commission. So I think they are done with their reviews. So we have that day, we will have those reviews introduced to the public, and there will be a vote on whether it should be incorporated in the Constitution or not. So I encourage members to come and hear what reviews, what amendments are being suggested that day. Because if you're not there, then you cannot say no tomorrow when that something in the Constitution is concerning you. Then we'll have the EC come and say who announce the results of the elections. And then I think in between there, before all of that, we'll have dinner. We have a lot of food. We have great food. We have matoke and plenty and everything that you need on a Ugandan dish. And then we'll have Muziki Oye DJs. They are going to Chikuba throughout the night. We are going to be in the Sheraton Hotel and Suites in Elk Grove. So I think the address is on the flyer. We'll have that. And yeah, it is going to be something. We'll have people coming in from everywhere. We'll have people coming in from Kentucky. We'll have people coming in from Indiana. We'll have people coming in from Wisconsin. So yeah, it is going to be fun. I'll encourage people to actually pay their membership. Those who have not yet paid their membership, the deadline day for you to pay your membership so that you can be able to vote is October 5th. So I encourage people to pay their membership dues. And then, yeah, Muje Tunyumirwe, we are going to eat and dance, towards the end until dawn.
Great. Watugenda kusukawo. Mwami Kizito Sebo webale nnyo webalirira okufisa kadde.
Amina.
bonna batulamusize kwagaliza buwanguzi mu nsiike eno gy'olimu. Sinaba kumanya waliwo akuvuganya ne bw'anaaba avuganyiza naye of course bw'anaaba ayagala nja kujja
nange sinaakumanya onambuulira naye as far as I know, I don't think anyone has. I think someone withdrew their nomination. I don't know. I'm not sure. But we'll see.
We'll see. Kale. Weekend ennungi. Ate tunaddamu nga tutegedde ebivudde mu kulonda.
Kale sebo.
Banda birinye bonna.
Kale sebo naawe bw'otyo.
Kale.